What up, y'all? So it's been a minute since I've made a video for this channel, and it's mainly because I've been really overthinking how I wanted to utilize this channel, Mission with Maestro, because I do have other channels. I have other YouTube channels, and this one I made to dedicate towards the journey. And just recently, I realized that I really want to dedicate this channel to expressing myself more than anything. Now, it's not that I don't use my other channels to express myself in certain ways, but they're more niche based. They're more topic matter, subject matter based. And this channel, I really came to the conclusion. I watched a young lady's YouTube channel, and well, I watched a video on her YouTube channel that just randomly came in my feed, and I've seen dozens to hundreds of these type of videos where you see my voice just scratch right there. Videos, but videos where people are talking about how they accidentally became a content creator, or they fell into the content creator, you know, journey out of nowhere. And I've seen so many of those, but for some reason, this one I decided to click on it and watch the video. And I was probably about 5 to 10 minutes in, and what she was saying was just on point. So I gave her a like. I always like to like the video that I'm watching. I feel more compelled. It's like tipping to me in a way, more compelled if I'm watching the video and I'm showing love to the content creator. Even if I don't like the content, oftentimes I'll like the video anyway, just because I know it takes time to create. And for viewers who are watching YouTube channels, we've become so spoiled because content creators are making these channels, and we have the ability and the freedom to just move away, step away. Like, we don't have to like it, we don't have to comment, we don't have to subscribe to it, nothing like that. We're not obligated to do so, but we know that it's our option to watch the video or not. So I often like to give creators a like because I understand, especially as a up and coming creator myself. Sometimes I see myself as a struggling creator because I've been striving to really hone in on YouTube for years now. But this is the first time in my life at the age of 39. I'm 39 years old, y'all. This is the first time in my life where I'm like, you know what? It's it. Now is the time. I'm done playing games. I'm done procrastinating. I've done enough experimentation. I've lived long enough to be able to give value, not just from my skill set, but from also my experience and the life that I've lived. And although the channel is called Mission with Maestro, I don't want to make this about a main character syndrome scenario, right? Because I really want to use myself as an example to relate to you. And I want to see people share their story, share their journey with me in the comments as well too. As cliche as that may sound, and it's nothing you haven't already heard, but I do want to be able to express to you all that I want to show you some of the how do I say, the gear that I'm using. I want to show you the apps that I'm using. I want to show you my setup. I want to show you some of my struggles within creating content. I want to show you some of my struggles maintaining a business. I'm also a business owner as well too. I've owned my business since 2015. So I've been 10 years in, and it has been a journey, a struggle. And it's also been I would say, a success in some ways as well too. And this is something that I don't think many people, some people attempt to do it, most can't sustain it because you have a balance of wanting to perform, right? You want to put on, as Jeezy said, I put on, and you want to put on for people because if you're on LinkedIn, if you're on Instagram and other platforms, it's about performance, showing people all the glitz and the glamour. I promise you, many people say the whole thing where people want to see people struggle, but that's only if they know you're winning. Then they want to know your struggles because that makes it relatable to them. Most people don't want to see people struggle that they're going to spend money with, especially lots of money, lots of dinero. Where my sound effect at? you know. And so that's one of the things that I fought for a long time, because I've had my successes, I've had my losses. And when you go up and down between the two, it's hard sometimes to use your losses as a way to gain new clients when you are not currently in the midst of succeeding. You know what I'm saying? Making that dinero. And this is something that I've struggled with for a long time. But like I said, this young lady's YouTube video, I've watched dozens to hundreds of them, but this time I'm just like, I don't need to watch the whole thing. I need to create. I need to get on this channel and create and share with you all my journey, share with you all my mission with becoming a content creator, my mission on sustaining my entrepreneurship, being a business owner, my mission on my love of traveling. I've traveled the world. I've been to Taiwan. I've been to Greece. Where else I go? Not Estonia, but Albania. I've been to Albania. And these are places, these are England. I lived in England, and I love to travel. That's why I have a passport. I'm also a father, and I'm going through a lot of battles in fatherhood with the family court system that I'm battling. And I have a whole different channel dedicated to that. And that was something else that I realized with what this channel can do. And I've seen the pattern. I think other people are going to be doing it more, but I've seen the pattern of people using the YouTube collaborator feature and using it with their other channels, right? Not just collaborating with other people, but using it with their other channels. And that's something that I'm like, you know what? That makes sense for this channel. When I talk about certain subjects or topics, I can just tag my other channel that's more specific to that topic or subject. But it doesn't mean that it's going to cannibalize this channel or vice versa. And it's something that I've battled with for years, y'all, a long time. Not just battling with that, but also battling with having a sustainable workflow in my content creation. Like I said, I love gear. I have a lot of gear, a lot of audio and visual gear. And I really had to find a program that fit my style of working. And it was only until recently that I got back on the train of OBS. I went through Ecamm. I'm also testing Cam Studio or Camo Studio. I've used QuickTime on Mac, so I use a Mac computer. What else did I use? I've used other programs as well too, but getting back on OBS, I'm currently on OBS 32.2.1 to be specific, right? But really 32.2 was a major update for OBS as far as I've learned and what I've known. And since I wasn't using OBS prior for years, I wasn't, how do I say, I wasn't like, it didn't impress me. You know what I'm saying? It didn't move me. It didn't upset me. It didn't do anything to my workflow in OBS that it did to other people that were using OBS that don't like the update. It didn't do anything because I wasn't using OBS. So now it feels like it's just fresh. And I actually like the user interface of OBS right now. Other things like it always crashes and the bugs and stuff. That was something that turned me off of OBS as well. So I stopped using it to use a dedicated Mac app such as Ecamm, because Ecamm, I believe, would be more stable because it's made for Mac and I use Mac. However, Ecamm comes with a subscription. And Ecamm has its hiccups too, y'all. So when I got back on OBS recently, I took the time to watch other YouTube tutorials, just the way you're watching this YouTube video. I watched other YouTube tutorials, other content creators use OBS to optimize my OBS. I said, I'm gonna commit myself to a weekend. I took an entire weekend and I just tested and tested and tested and tested and tweaked my settings. And I used the help of ChatGPT because I love using AI. I have an AI tech channel that I'll tag to this channel. And I actually do a video showing how I set my OBS up using ChatGPT. And it was something that for me was a game changer. As I have my window open, so if you hear sounds in the background, it's because I have my window open. But it was a game changer for me personally, because when I set my OBS up using ChatGPT, I also was setting up my gamer workflow because I use PS5, right? I'm a PS5 gamer. Probably not gonna be a PS6 because PlayStation is on some, Sony's on some ish right now. But I do appreciate my PS5, and I wanted to do streaming. I wanted to stream to YouTube. I wanted to stream to Twitch, even Kick if possible. I had to learn that there's trade-offs depending on the performance of your computer. And when going through all this testing, I learned that I can stream to two platforms at the same time, Twitch and YouTube, while also recording a 4K video on my computer. Now, why would I want to record a 4K video on my computer while I'm streaming to YouTube and Twitch? Well, it's because when you're streaming to YouTube or Twitch, depending on your computer and depending on your internet, there are so many issues that can arise. There are so many factors and variables involved. So that can dramatically affect the quality of your video. Okay. So that's why I wanted to record locally. So that way I can control the local recording a lot more than what I'm streaming with. And it also plays as a backup, especially for post editing. I want to upload in 4K 30. Like, I'm just a snob when it comes to video game quality. And so I use a Elgato 4KX as my capture card, and it allows me to play video games at 4K 60 or higher. Plus, I use a monitor that gives me a 120 hertz refresh rate. So this was the reason why I wanted to go with an Elgato capture card, 4KX, to kind of future-proof myself. So if I get a better monitor or a new system, I'm still good. However, when it comes to recording and streaming and the computer you're using, whether it's PC or Mac, that chipset, right? Your chipset matters a lot. There are so many factors in your chipset, not just the RAM. People think of RAM being the most important thing, and I'm like, no, not really. Your processing power, your CPU, your GPU, the media engine inside your computer, sound card, graphics, all these things matter. So I had to learn, okay, there's trade-offs. Like, I can't have my cake and eat it too, so to speak. So this was a reason why I did so much testing over a weekend. I took the entire weekend to do nothing but testing. And based on that testing, I was able to dial in my settings to the point to where I felt super comfortable being able to wake up, being able to turn off my computer, restart it, wake up, and turn on OBS, and all my settings are still there intact. And I can record smoothly, because recording is one thing, editing is another thing. But having the will and the want to do the thing, that's a whole different ballgame, y'all. Whole different ballgame. And it was something that I let stop me from creating consistently and frequently for a long period of time. Like I said, I have other YouTube channels, but I've never dedicated a channel to just share my journey, share the tools that I'm using, and just be a little off script. Just be able to do what I want to do, how I want to do it, and let y'all know that everything ain't always dandelions and roses. Sometimes shit get ugly. Sometimes it's beautiful. This channel is for that. That's why it's called Mission with Maestro, because everything that I'm doing is about the mission. And I'm sure if you're watching this too, you're on a mission, right? And yes, my name is actually Maestro, but the whole thing is about just sharing with you all the journey of creating content, becoming a sustainable content creator, being able to sustain my life off my content that I create. Although I'm still running a business, I still am, looking to sell my business services. But at the same time, I want to share a lot of the journey of what I'm doing. So that way somebody who's watching this can also learn themselves, no matter what walk of life you're in, no matter where you came from, what your color is, your race, your ethnicity, your gender, your size, what location you're from, none of that matters. Whoever you are, none of that matters, at least not when it comes to this channel and what I'm looking to share. Okay? So I just want to let you know that right now. It does not matter who you are, where you come from, as long as you have the will and you're willing to make the sacrifice. You're willing to commit. You're willing to experiment, right? You have to be willing to experiment. Are you willing to fail? Are you willing to do things that you normally wouldn't do? That's something that I want to relate with you all as the audience, watching these videos and watching me go through these motions. And the ironic part is my company is named The Iconic Expressions. And I'm like, but you don't have a channel dedicated to expressing who you are. I didn't have that. And that's what this channel is about. I want to express who I am, what I love to do, and what I love about being a techie, being a father, being a traveler, being a nerd. I'm a cool nerd, y'all, but I'm a nerd nonetheless now. And yeah, I've suppressed that for a very long time due to life's downfalls and pitfalls and life's hurdles. But at the same time, I've done a lot of great things. I've accomplished a lot of things that I don't need to brag about at all, not even a little bit, because you'll be able to see that in my story. You'll be able to see that in the content that I create. You'll be able to hear that in my voice, how passionate I sound, how confident I sound, while at the same time knowing that, yeah, I get butterflies in my stomach sometimes when I go on stage and I have to do a speech or I'm teaching a class or even doing a YouTube video. It's normal for us to feel this way. But for us to suppress it because we're ashamed or afraid, yeah, there is positivity in shame. I believe 100% it's necessary at times so that way we don't just go off the rails doing crazy stuff, right? And I have a channel dedicated more to, you know, the nature of society and how I believe the dynamics of relationships have changed. But on this channel, I didn't want to feel ashamed to be me. Not at all. And you shouldn't be ashamed to be you. So it's just something that I thought was imperative. It was necessary for me to create a video just sharing this part of my journey and my story because it's not something I believe I've done yet on this channel. I only have a few videos and a few subscribers right now, but I believe a year or two, if it takes 3, fine. But I believe in a year or two, I believe it's gonna be between 1 to 2 years, this channel is going to do something amazing. Amazing for you. It's going to do something amazing for me that I would have never seen coming had I not pressed record, right? Had I not pressed the record button and then had I not published to YouTube, I would have never known. I would never know. I watch my YouTube feed and I see channel or videos on channels from 13 years ago, 8 years ago, 5 years ago. That's not something that I see on LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, or what else is there? Snapchat, what else? Facebook. No, that's not the same way. YouTube is something special, even though Google, YouTube can get a little cocky. And as I say, Google loves Google more than Kanye loves Kanye, and that's a lot of love. But what I do appreciate is that YouTube is a video library and it's a search engine. And although YouTube prioritizes YouTube more than it prioritizes us personally as creators, I do appreciate the fact that I see videos from years ago, and only if that person started at some point in time, I would not be seeing that video on my feed from years ago, let alone their recent videos, okay? So it's just something for you to think about when you're on your own journey, whether you're a content creator or not, and what you prioritize in terms of your time, effort, and energy using these platforms. Yes, do I believe that it helps to use multiple platforms? Absolutely. Don't get me wrong. That's why I said I'm streaming to both Twitch and to YouTube for my gamer channel. If I can get streamed to Kick, I will. But I need a better performing computer for that because, like I said, my chipset ain't doing it. Even though I have a MacBook Pro M5, right? And I had to learn that that chip is everything. Yes, the name says MacBook Pro, right? But it's not the M5 Pro chip or the M5 Max chip. And that chip is the difference of you being able to do certain things based on what it is that you are looking to accomplish. And I had to trade stuff off. So for me, my normal standard of being able to do things when it comes to creating content, I can stream to 2 platforms at the same time. 1080p is what I'm doing. I have to stream at 1080p at 30 frames per second because when I turn to 60 frames per second, that's doubling the frames and that's adding more, how do I say, more weight to the computer, more things the computer has to process, and it creates bottlenecks, meaning frames drop. And we don't have time for that. Like once I click publish or once I click, how do I say, start stream, I can only tell so much what's happening unless I'm monitoring the stream myself. Same thing recording the video. Once I create record, it's only after the video is done, I'm able to see what happened in real time in the video. I mean, or what happened while the video is recording, right? Because right now I can see a monitor in OBS. I can see what's happening on OBS, but it does not mean that's the same thing I'm gonna get once I click stop on the video and I watch the video. So I had to practice. You have to practice. But I will tell you this, y'all. I have fell in love not only with the process, but with the results. You gotta love the process, whether it hurts, whether it feels good. You gotta fall in love with the process, okay? And that's something that I fell in love with, but then I also love the results because I finally got to where I want to be in terms of that. As mentioned before, I'm 39 years old. I wish I would have started this at 29, or I wish I would have committed to it at 29. I did start at 29 and earlier, but I didn't commit to it. I let life get in the way. I let shame get in the way. You know, I let people get in my way. But today is not that. And what did Star-Lord say? And it was an Infinity War, or was it Endgame? Not today, sir. Not, you will not be taking our ship. Not today, sir. When he was trying to mock Thor, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna keep letting this stop me for any longer. Heck, the heat ain't even gonna stop me. I can turn on my air conditioner. I'm like, but I like to give my air conditioner rest a little bit. So it's get a little hot in here. No Nelly. But I'm like, listen, I'm not gonna even let the heat stop me. I've seen so many people sweat on YouTube. And I'm not gonna let all these fancy effects and things like that in post-editing people do. That's the one thing I appreciate about old girls. Well, I say old, not old, but old, O-L-E, right? Because she was young. But I appreciate about her video was she also shared something that I also believe. There are so many overperformed or over-edited videos. When I watch a video, I can care less about all this extra B-roll footage, all these effects, the swiping in and the this and the that, and I can care less about all that stuff. If the content, if I can hear you clearly, right? If the audio is on par and I can see you clearly and you know what you're talking about and you got a little bit of personality, that's all I need. I don't need anything else. And I see so many channels that have these over edited videos. And yes, to the average person, it makes them feel like, oh, that person may be more intelligent, or that person must be living it up and da 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 da. And I'm like, man, you don't even know. You have no idea what's really going on in the background. No clue. As Gina would say when she was on Martin, singing in the background. But you have no idea what's really happening, y'all. You really don't. And I appreciate efficiency over fancy. And so that's what I'm going to give you because I appreciate it and I'm going to be authentic. I'm not going to do or share things that I'm not going to use or that I wouldn't advise you to use just because I'm trying to get a click or a like or a subscribe or a brand deal. That ain't happening here. That's not the mission. That's not the move. So it's just something that I really wanted to share with you all because it's been on my mind for a long time. And I'm going to go in here into a new scene. Let's go in my main picture in picture just to show you real quick, right? So for example, I'm using a 3-camera setup, okay? My main camera that you're looking at right now, that's my Sony a6700 camera. And I have that connected with a cam link. So that's how I'm getting the footage into my computer is through a cam link, okay? Now, when it comes to the side camera right here, this is an Obsbot Tail Air, right? That's an Obsbot Tail Air. And it's a very interesting type of camera because it can be a webcam, it can be a standalone camera. It's PTZ, pan tilt zoom camera. It's also wireless. Right now, I'm using it wireless via NDI, network device interface. I had to learn about this, y'all. I did not know, I've heard of NDI for a long time, but I didn't know what it was until I got this camera. When I got this camera, I'm like, oh, now I get it. And sometimes that's what it takes for us to do. We got to get the thing so we can learn more about it hands-on. So now, even though I have a wire connected to it via USB-C, that's only to charge or to keep it on a charge, because it only has about 2.5 hours of battery. Unless you buy their extension, their battery extension, it only has about 2.5 hours. So right now, there's only a wire connected only for the battery. As far as the signal, it's coming off of my network, off of my router. That's what NDI is all about. Connecting to your network, and then over the network, you can then have this capability of being able to have your footage, right? Your feed come through the camera. So that's what this OBSBot is for. And then in terms of my other camera, so as you can see my Rodecaster right here. This is my Rodecaster Pro 2 to be specific. And my Rodecaster is my main audio mixer device. And I love this. I've had this for about 4 years now. Well, not this specific unit. Actually, the secret is they sent me a few units because I've had 3 that the device malfunctioned. My 4th one they sent me, I've had no problem since. And it's not a knock on Rode. So for those of y'all who are using Rodecaster Pro 2s as well, or using any Rode device, I am not downing or knocking Rode. Things happen. Yes, I got sent some faulty devices, but they made up for it. Okay, they made up for it. I contacted support, and my warranty, the warranty was good, and they made up for it. So that's one thing I want you to be able to see right now, is the fact that I have this, and Rode does a good job when it comes to the warranty. I respected that, and that's coming off my C922 webcam. This was the first webcam that I got. Well, I shouldn't say it like that. This was the webcam I started with once I replaced my other C9, I think it's C920. But I only started with one camera, and that was a webcam, and that was this. Then I upgraded to my Sony camera right here. I upgraded to this Sony camera right here. And then after I upgraded to the Sony camera, I decided to get my OBSBot camera right here. And I'm sharing this with you because you don't need nothing fancy in the beginning. I only upgraded because I just wanted better quality, and I wanted to treat myself, right? And I appreciate the multi capability of my Sony camera because I like taking pictures. I used to be a photographer. And when I say used to be, I still do photography, but not like that. I used to be a photographer, right? Back in the day. And so I did a lot of photography, and I did some video content creation as well too, on the go for others. So I wanted a mirrorless camera. I used to have a DSLR, right? The T3i when it came to using Canon. And then I ended up going with Sony because I wanted to do the mirrorless thing. I wanted to see what was up with that, right? And I also wanted to use my camera as a webcam. So that's why I upgraded to the Sony. However, I was like, you know what? Let's put use to this camera right here. Let's put use to my webcam right here, the C922, and I'll just make that a desk camera, right? A desk camera so people can see what's on my desk at times. But at the same time, I wanted to have my side camera right here, my OBSBot, because I like the idea of pan, tilt, and zoom, right? I can't pan, tilt, and zoom this webcam manually, nor can I pan, tilt, and zoom my Sony camera manually, right? I can't do it automatically. Let me take that back. I can't do these automatically. I have to do them manually. And so that defeats the whole purpose of pan, tilt, and zoom. Whereas this camera right here, I can do this automatically. So for example, if I go to this right here and I turn gesture control on and I do my hands up, now you see it's gonna move the camera if I move around. See that? Super dope technology, right? So my hand just came up again and it just stopped. So I have to be careful. I turn that off because if I don't turn it off, it's gonna keep doing it. It's very sensitive. And now we're here. That was something that I wanted to be able to use for events. If I do events and I wanted some pan, tilt, and zoom capability, this camera is 4K 30. And I'm like, yo, this is perfect for my needs. Is it the best quality footage? No. That's why they have the Osbot Tail Air versus the Tail Air 2, right? They have the Osbot, and they have the other Osbot cameras as well. So this was my middle ground because this is a $500 camera. My Sony camera plus the lens that I have is about $2,000 to $2,500. This camera was like 100 and something. You know, the webcam was like 100 something. So each camera has a price point, right? That's why I'm saying there's trade-offs to what you're doing. It's very important for you all to know this. The main thing is can I record at 1080p 30 on all the cameras? If I wanted to, yes. Can I record at 4K 30 on at least 2 of my cameras? Yes. This camera records at 4K 30. The Osbot records at 4K 30, as you can see here, right? And my Sony camera records at 4K 30, but I can also turn it to 4K 60 as well too, right? I can also turn it to 4K 60. So, sorry. I can also turn this 4K 60. So that's important. I wanted to make sure that my frame rates and my resolutions could match my needs, especially if I'm recording them all together in the same program, such as OBS, which I'm doing right now. And so that's why I'm saying, like, this is very important for you all to see, because I'm a fan of this. Like, I'm so grateful to finally have my settings dialed up, like, so intact to where I can trust it more sustainably than not. And so, for instance, let me go here. I'm going to change my profile and my scene collection. Oh, nope, it won't let me. Okay, I can change the scene collection. I can't change the profile. Very interesting, right? We're always learning something new. So boom, now you can see that it automatically just changed my second cam when I changed my scene collection, right? But watch this. I'm gonna turn on my PlayStation. You can have my PS5 right here, and I'm gonna go to my main picture-in-picture. Now you can see I'm using an Elgato something. Now what is that? It's an Elgato capture card. I'm using the 4KX. So I have the Elgato Cam Link connected to my Sony camera right here. And then I also have my Elgato capture card, 4KX, connected to my PS5. And that's connected to my computer. So if I turn on, right? If I turn on my PS5, we should see a signal come through here through OBS. If everything works right, we should see a signal. Boom. Clean than a whistle, like a referee with a whistle. And as you can see, that is clean. So now I can record, I can stream and record using OBS, right? Because now you should be able to see the PS5. You can also see my Osbot side cam right there. But if I went to the main cam, you can see the main cam. And I've set up my different scenes in OBS already. And as I mentioned before, ChatGPT helped me do this. I did not do this on my own, y'all. Yes, I have an AV background, but do you think I know everything about all the settings in OBS? No, I don't. I don't want to know. I got other things to do. I got places to go, people to see, right? I don't got time to learn all the nuances. So that's where AI comes in. And I'm an avid fan of AI. I use them all. Claude, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini. I even use local models, but I'll tell you right now, having 24 gigs of RAM and having the base model M5 chip, or what, 8, I don't know how many cores. I ain't gonna get into the cores, right? But you need a lot of RAM and a powerful chip if you're really gonna be running local models seriously, especially local models that compare or get anywhere close to the models you're gonna find in the ChatGPT and Claude and Perplexity, right? Any of the non-open source models. You ain't gonna get nowhere close. I've experimented, I've tried it. It's only fun, but you're not getting serious with it. You gotta have a powerful chip and a lot of RAM. 24 gigs of RAM ain't gonna do it. And that's why I'm like, you know what? It ain't even worth it for me even trying. Just have to get a better computer, get more RAM. And unfortunately, Mac solders their stuff in, meaning like they glue their stuff in. I believe 100% they did it on purpose. They knew that people were like me when I had the MacBook Pro 2011 or 2012 version, that we were, doing things with our RAM, our battery, the storage drive. We were able to change things out ourselves. Mac didn't want that. And I have a feeling they knew where things were going, and that's the reason why they try to use or justify. Well, we're gonna solder it in to give it more performance. Whatever justification they made, it's all BS. They did that because they wanted to keep a closed-ended ecosystem, and they wanted you to come back to buy a new computer. It was more of a business model and stakeholder move than it was a consumer move. I'm telling y'all, it really was. Somebody's gonna argue with me in the comments about it. Feel free to argue with me in the comments. I can care less, but I believe that was a business move for them more than it was the consumer, because when it comes to upgrading my RAM, guess what I have to do? Well, after realizing that I got a 24 gigs of RAM and that wasn't enough to do things that I want to do, and 6 months have passed because Mac only gives you so much time to change back the computer, right? 14 days, 30 days. If it's 6 months later, a new program, a new this comes out, and you're like, I don't have enough RAM. Oh, well, you got to upgrade the whole computer. You cannot switch it out. They did it on purpose, y'all. So that's one thing I had to learn. But as you can see, I have my PlayStation right here. It should be showing pretty smoothly if I'm not mistaken. And that's something that I really wanted the capability of doing, streaming to 2 platforms, recording also at the same time, 4K 30 on my computer, and everything working smoothly. Right? Everything working smoothly. If I could get that to happen on a consistent basis, I was going to make more content. I was going to create less excuses for myself not to create content because I have what I need from a push of a button and everything works smoothly. And I do not like editing. Yes, I use Final Cut Pro. I use Logic Pro. I'm a music producer. Well, I should say I used to be a music producer. I was never an engineer. It was more producer. But when you're a producer, you have to learn how to do some basic engineering. You do. But I was never a music engineer. I was always music production, right? I could make the beats. I could create the melodies. I can create the harmonies. I can write the song. But engineering was never my forte. It's my Achilles heel that even to this day, it gets on my nerves. So I've had to find other ways to make up for my lack of learning the whole engineering gamut. And I just admitted to myself, well, I just don't want to do it. I'd rather not do it. And that's where now I'm gonna have to change my my scene again. So let me change my scene collection. Let's see. That's where the Rodecaster came in. Why? Because the processing in here is top creme de la creme processing. Right? Once you get your settings dialed in, I should do this. Once you get your settings dialed in, right, for your processing, when it comes to my mic, I don't have to do much. Okay, so that's something that I wanted you all to see. When it comes to this right here and it's dialed in, I don't have to do much at all. This is all good to go. Okay, so that's why I said, let me be smart about this and let me get a tool, right, a device that has the settings dialed in. I can do multiple things. I'm a fan of the faders. I love faders on this. I love as I say, tactile, I guess. I love the tactile use of this. It's also the reason why I use a Stream Deck as well too, because I like to press the buttons when it comes to scene switching. So I use my Stream Deck for scene switching. And then when it comes to software and your cameras, you have to learn that a lot of cameras, especially webcams, will come with their own software that you have to dial in. It is annoying because if you don't have a powerful computer, imagine trying to use an OBS or some other type of tool while you have this camera software open at the same time. It can cause bottlenecks and friction. So you have to have a good chipset. I'm just being real, and enough RAM to have these different programs open at the same time. Something that I had to learn as well too. And this is something that I don't take for granted. I'm going to take advantage of it. And I want to teach you all how to take advantage of it, but I don't take it for granted. I'm hoping that somebody has learned something from this video. I know this video has gone long. I don't care. I love making long form content. Then I can cut it up and make shorts or make clips of the content after I create the long form content. But I love to make long form content because I know that I have a lot to say. And what I have to say is not just out in the wind. You know, I really want to share value with you all. And I believe that this video itself has a lot of value in it. I'll create chapter markers, to make it easier for people to skim through it and go through it, blah, 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 all those little things. Even the chapters make us so spoiled. I mean, I've seen people in the comments literally like cuss the content creator out because they didn't put chapter markers in there. I'm like, how dare you? You are so spoiled. You're not even making the content and you're mad because they didn't put chapters in it to make it easier for you. Whoo, we are so spoiled. I'm like, first of all, the video is free. Second of all, you don't even know how much it costs the content creator to make the video. And not just in terms of money, but what it costs in their time, effort, and energy. We are so spoiled, y'all. But I'm still gonna play the game to a certain extent, like that as well too. And then as you can see in the background, let me share this in the background. I have my music devices right here. So I have an MPK right here, right? Boom, boom. And then I also have my machine right here, boom, boom. And then I also have, well, messing my camera up. You see, that's why I like doing stuff like this because it's just real. And I also have my SSL 2, like MK2. Now, why would I have this when I already have a mixer like the Rode? Because unfortunately, Rode, I would say they're not focused on music production, right? And music producers. And then also there's a little bit of latency as well too when I'm in Logic or I'm in a program. There's latency and this helps mitigate for that. That's all you see, there's no faders. Yeah, there's knobs, but there's no faders. And also this records in 32-bit, right? 129 kilohertz. And my Rodecaster is limited to what is it? 24-bit, 48 kilohertz. So 24-bit, 48 kilohertz, where this is 32-bit, 129 kilohertz. And because I use a Shure SM7B mic, this mic has the capability of, meeting the needs or meeting the capabilities of this interface right here. So this interface is purely what I'm pretty much making music more than anything. Because if I'm gonna do any audio overdubs and things like that, I'm probably gonna use my Rodecaster more than anything. I'm gonna use my Rodecaster up. So let me turn that back here and do that. And that's another thing too with the webcam. Like I said, I wanted to use this as a desk cam right here. So as you can see, my desk ain't the prettiest. I got so many wires. Now, when you have this stuff, you're gonna learn that there are so many wires that you're gonna have. This is a dual monitor right there. Right? That's a dual monitor right there. And then my Stream Deck, and I have a couple of Thunderbolts. I'm not gonna get all, I'll make another video for all that, right? I'll make another video for all that. I have two Thunderbolts. Amazon, man, Amazon killed it. I got these Black Friday. These Thunderbolt hubs killed it. Like killed it. I paid $100 for both of them, and they've lasted a long time, and they are so good. And then I have some SSDs as well too, solid state drives, so that way I can record video really, really quickly and pull it off and on. I also use a network access. So the Ugreen NAS, I use that as well too. Let's see if it opens up on the right one. No, it didn't. So we got to move it. So for those of y'all who want your own cloud home storage, let me show you real quick right here. I invested into my own cloud storage. So I use my own cloud storage. It's connected to my network, right? And I have some storage devices in the, I said storage, some hard drives, some HHDs or some hard drives. I call it that. I'm like HAD. Who says HAD? Some hard drives. I have some hard drives as well too. Now, why would I have this? Why would I have hard drives as a storage for accessing this way? Because if I travel anywhere in the world, right? Even though I use Google Drive, right? So there's nothing like redundancy. What do they say? You want to have 3 backups and 1 off-site, right? 3 backups and 1 off-site. Well, this is a part of my 3 backups. Now, is this off-site? No, this is on-site. This is at my home. So if my house blows up or goes on fire, I'm screwed when it comes to this hard drive. But in terms of the off-site hard drive, I also use this right here, iDrive. And this backs up my actual entire computer to a cloud somewhere in Timbuktu. I don't have no idea where their locations are, but somewhere off-site, and it backs up my computer. People get confused and they think that if they have Google Drive on their computer and they have it connected to their computer, that's backing up their computer. No, it's not. It's backing up certain files. And what's different between having a dedicated offsite drive that does what like iDrive does. Now, there may be a different thing when it comes to PC users, right? But for Mac users, and I'm not sponsored by nobody, so I'm just sharing with you all what I'm using. But I learned the hard way because I have a MacBook Pro that I love so much that died because I spilled water on it. And it forced me to get this new updated M5 MacBook Pro. Well, guess what? Everything got destroyed, right? I fell asleep one day and I had a cup of water, not like close to my computer. I fell asleep on my computer. I was so tired working one night. I fell asleep, woke up, and my computer was dead. And I had no idea what happened. Well, guess what? Water was spilled on the keyboard, destroyed everything. I damn near cried, y'all. I damn near cried. I ain't gonna lie. I damn near cried. I cried. I cried because it was like, oh my God, my life's work. I have all this stuff on here. I didn't have what I have right now. The lesson that I learned was 3 backups, 1 off-site, right? 3 backups, 2 different forms, 1 off-site. So now I use Time Machine. I use Time Machine connected to a hard drive to my computer. I use Time Machine. The cool part about this is it also allows you to use Time Machine on this network access. Isn't that Nas? What does Nas stand for? I forgot what Nas stands for. Like not Nas the rapper. Some of y'all probably thinking like Nas the rapper, right? not Nas the rapper, right? But basically, it's this device that I have near my router and my modem, right? And it has these hard drives on it. I also have a Time Machine backed up to that, right? So let's see if I go to my Time Machine right here, browse, open Time Machine settings, and you can see, bam. So this is my Time Machine right here connected to my NAS, right? But then I also have my Time Machine connected to 2 drives connected directly to my MacBook, But then I also have a backup for a service that I paid for that is also like it's my Time Machine connected to something that is nowhere near my house. So if anything happens to my computer, I got backups on backups on backups. Some of y'all might think it's ridiculous. That's way too much. But I'm telling you, when you are in a digital age and a lot of things that you use digitally, it ain't too much. Because the thing that will break your heart is when you've had media files, information, documents on a computer that you've had for years, and all of a sudden you wake up and that joint is dead. Trust me when I say it ain't too much. I couldn't have that happen again. Lesson I had to learn the hard way. So that's why I even looked into a NAS and what that meant. And Ugreen was something that, this Ugreen version was something that was affordable for me. It can get expensive if you get bigger versions, but this one was affordable for me. I bought 2 hard drives during Black Friday. That's the best time to buy hard drives. And I bought it before all this crazy stuff happened when it came to upgrading like all this RAM and all this stuff. I got it before all that happened, right? I can't tell you how expensive it is now, but I got it before then. So it's just something I wanted to share with you all. Like, I'm not playing. When it came to creating content, when it came to being a business owner, when it comes to the journey and the mission, I wanted to make sure that I was intact, right? Now, yes, all this can explode. None of this matters when aliens expose themselves. You know, none of this matters when all that happens, right? But as of right now, while we're living in quote unquote this normal society, even though it ain't normal, I wanted to make sure that I was secure with my stuff and everything was all good. And I wanted to make sure that, you know, me moving forward, I didn't make excuses for myself because I didn't have this or have that. And yes, it costs money. That's why I said I invested in my business and my business invested in me, right? And it's just the reality of it. Like this, I didn't buy none of this off of credit. Nothing here you see was bought off of credit. Nope. This was me working hard, getting clients from my business and using that money from my clients instead of using it to vacation, using it to buy cars, using it to have a fancy house and a fancy place, you know, and other stuff. I could have did all that. Like, I'm telling you, I could have did all that. I made a lot of money, right? I said, you know what? I'm going to spend that money and invest it back in myself. And then I'm going to use that money to build, you know, to build myself, to build these channels, to build my business, but do it in a sense of content creation, because there is no better investor in you than you, right? You're going to be your best investor. I do believe in investing in stocks. I'm going to get back into that whole part. I may share that on this channel as well too, but I wanted to invest in my content creation capability and my needs. And as I mentioned, as an adult, making or playing games doesn't make any money. But I'm like, but it also helps relieve stress. And why suppress myself when I know I like to play games? My daughter likes to play games. So I said, you know what? Let me invest in, if I'm gonna play games, why not stream it? Why not build up to the point where I can monetize it? If that's it. If not, otherwise it's for leisure. It's for fun. But I know that if I'm gonna do it, I can share this with you all and do it in a way to where it's enjoyable. And that's something that I thought was the coolest thing that I can think of for me and my kid. I only got one kid, and I thought she would appreciate this too. When she looks back at this, she's only 4 years old right now. When she looks back at this, she's gonna look at this content and say, "That's my dad." And hopefully, it inspires her as she grows up and when she gets older as well too. And this inspires other kids as well too. Now, I'm not saying this is a kid-friendly channel. That's not what I'm saying. But when she becomes of age, she can watch this. Listen, these kids are so sneaky; they gonna watch our stuff anyway. But one day she can be inspired by this content that daddy wanted to do something special for himself, but also do something special for the world, not the city, but the world. Craig, where my sound at?
We top flight security of the world, Craig. Not just the city, the world.
Top flight security of the world, right? I wanted to inspire her. I wanted to inspire you all, but I also wanted to do something that I believe was worth it. And I believe this is worth it. And I enjoy it. So if you've enjoyed this, please subscribe to the channel. Please like the video. Share your thoughts. What do you think? What do you think about what I'm doing? What do you think about some of my gear? I haven't even shown you everything yet. I have not. And I'm gonna save that for other videos because I got some stuff like y'all have no idea the custom setup that I've done. And I'm telling you, YouTube creators, we all have different things. We all have different setups, but I've learned from some of the best because I'm really good at translating. After I spend time watching and understanding, I'm really good at translating, and I made a custom setup for myself. And I've done some really cool things in terms of my Rodecaster, in terms of my PlayStation, in terms of my computer, and in terms of my audio and my visual equipment. I've done some crazy things that I think I would be doing you all disjustice. Is that a word? Disjustice? I know, yeah, dissatisfaction. I would not be doing you all justice if I did not compel myself. I compel you. If I didn't compel myself to just create the content, forget being perfect, forget the vibrato, forget the shame, just do it because somebody's gonna watch this and say, you know what, because I saw your channel and the way you set things up, I was able to mimic that. I was able to do it too. You inspired me, and that's something that I think that is the coolest thing that other content creators have done for me. If they did not create their channel, I don't know what mood they were in. I don't know what their personal issues were unless they share it. I don't know all the behind the scenes. I just know that they made a video, I watched it, and I became inspired. I became influenced, even motivated. Heck, it even changed my setup in ways. If they did not create content, I would not have the same things that I have, right? And so that's why I'm like, I have to do it. I gotta do it. So that's it. That's what I want to share with you all. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, mission with Maestro, y'all. We on a mission. And I mean we. We. I feel French right now. Pepe la pew. We are on a mission, and I'm excited to continue with you all. Stay tuned. I'm out. Peace.